Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. It's time for my annual Christmas episode with special scenery and my special Zelda Happy Holidays sweatshirt that you can't quite read, but it's festive, if a bit small. So first, I do want to start with a quick movie review. I went to see Bumblebee, which I'm not a huge Transformers fan, but I'd heard good things about it. I'd seen the trailer and it looked like it was charming fun. So I said, what the hell, I have a free weekend, let me just go. Because with AMC A-List, the more movies I see, the cheaper they are. So I went to see it, and it was in 3D, which the 3D was actually really good. And it was great fun. I'm not the hugest Transformers fan. I only saw the first one of the Michael Bay movies, because I didn't like it, so I never saw the other two. And this is produced by Michael Bay, but it's a different writer-director and stuff, so it's... I guess it's technically like a prequel, and it could lead into those, but the Transformers models in this one are much better. They look a lot more like the cartoon and the toys that I remember from when I was a kid. So, not the horrible, ugly ones from the Michael Bay movies. So, it was delightful and fun, and I recommend it. If you're a Transformers fan, then you've probably already seen it. And even if you're not, it's still fun because it's not necessarily a Transformers movie. It's about a teenage girl played by Haley Steinfeld who is struggling after the death of her father, and her life is a misery and all that sort of thing. Also, it's set in the 80s, so it has fun 80s soundtrack. And she comes across Bumblebee, and it's kind of a ripoff of the Iron Giant with, you know, kid discovers giant robot that is a weapon slash soldier, but doesn't remember that that's what it is. So, but then of course by the end of the movie it does have big fight scenes and there's action and stuff. But it's very charming and it's funny, and I was thoroughly entertained the whole way through, so yay! I recommend it. On to Christmas. I got a bunch of neat presents for Christmas, although I haven't gotten them all yet, because I have a big family, and we've only had one of 3 Christmases so far. Because my husband got sick, so we couldn't go to his family Christmas on Christmas. We had our Christmas, and then my family Christmas is next weekend. I got the cutest little stocking stuffer, little tiny Gigi from Kiki's Delivery Service, who is keeping guard on the tree. I got Gigi chopsticks, which are super cute, and also a puzzle bowl. You might have seen this on my Instagram. A Totoro puzzle bowl, which was not too hard to put together, the jigsaw part, but without English instructions, putting together the plastic parts on the inside was a little tricky. Now I just need to find a small little plant to put inside and it'll be super cute. I got a book. I had this book. It's a book on trashy paperback books from the 70s and 80s called Paperbacks from Hell. It's amazing. I totally recommend this book. And one of the books in there that they talked about, I was like, oh my god, I want that book. And my husband found it on eBay. It's called The Phantom of the Soap Opera, which I can't wait to read. It looks delightful. I also got the Epic Collection, Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, which I'm hoping that they do the rest of the series, because I didn't buy this one for myself because I wanted to make sure that they were going to do the whole series. I didn't want to just get the first part, and then, like, they still need to do, like, 2 more volumes. So, hopefully they do them now that I have this. My husband also tried to get the Justice League t-shirt that I had had for years, and it finally it was literally, like, falling apart at the seams. And he decided that he was going to try to find it for me, but he couldn't find it for me, so he got me a different Justice League t-shirt. Look for that in a future podcast. And then, awesomely, he got me the first season of Peter Davison from Doctor Who, the Fifth Doctor, which was my first Doctor when I was in like junior high school and I discovered Doctor Who. It was Peter Davison. So it's quite lovely to go back and watch these episodes, and I've already watched a bunch, and it's wonderful to like revisit my childhood and have those science fiction adventures with the cheesy effects and everything. Unfortunately, I did not get Pokemon for Christmas, though I did put it on my Amazon wishlist. However, I was going to go and buy Pokemon after Christmas, and my husband suggested that I might not want to do that. So I'm still have 2 Christmases left, so I'm expecting to get Pokemon somewhere along the way, because I would like to start playing Pokemon, since I, in fact, finished Okami. That's right. I finally finished Okami. Can you believe it? Finally. It's great. It's a terrific game. It's absolutely wonderful. Everybody was right. I'm so glad that I finally played it. And I'm glad that I caved on the Switch, because having the touchscreen for the brush effects, like, using the touchscreen was way easier than trying to use a joystick to draw things and draw... I mean, they're rudimentary shapes, the circles and squiggles and whatever, but just being able to touch it on the screen was so much easier. But my only complaint, other than the fact, like, it's great. The graphic style is beautiful, the script is charming and funny and lovely, except for Issen, who's kind of a creepy lech, and the girls with the bouncing boobs. I found that wildly inappropriate and kind of out of place in this game of, like, beauty and such. My only real complaint is what I've said before, which is that the game sets it up, and they build up to this boss, and you think that's your big boss, and I'm like, well, that's kind of quick. This is a short game. That was like maybe the halfway point. Because after you finish that boss, they're like, no, there's more to do. So then you do more, and like every boss is kind of presented as, this is the boss, this is the final boss. This is the boss that will end the game. And it never is. Well, eventually it is. And then it became like when I was in the final area, I'm like, okay, this is very clearly like the end of the game. Because you go back and like fight all the same stuff again and everything, and I'm like, okay, this is clearly like the big climax of the game. So other than that like kind of structural element that I found sort of weird and annoying, I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. So while I wait for Pokemon, I will simply play more Katamari, because I haven't done all the levels once yet, and I still need to, you know, get more presents and make bigger stars and that sort of thing. And it's super fun. It's very addictive. Although I will say that I have found that playing Katamari on the train can be dangerous, because once I got so wrapped up in trying to roll everything, I'm like, I need to roll up that building, ah! And then I'm like, oh, shit, this is my stop! And I had to, like, race off the train, because I almost missed my stop, because I got too into it. I've also been playing quite a bit of Red Dead 2, still thoroughly enjoying it. I will say, I tried to do some side stuff. I finally decided, like, let me go and see what these bounties are about. Thinking, let me do good things. I'll help bring in criminals, and that'll be, like, really good for my moral, you know, level. Unfortunately, doing good deeds, like bringing in bounties, does not pay that well. Robbing stuff pays way better. But I did a couple of bounties, and it's a little tricky because they're like, no, we want them alive. And I'm like, ugh. You know, so you have to, like, subdue them and tie them up and bring them back. But whatever. But there was one problem where after I brought back a bounty, and she was only worth $25, and I'm like, you were not worth the trouble that it took to chase you down and hogtie you. But as I was after I collected my money and I'm talking to the sheriff, I pushed the wrong button on the controller, and suddenly he thought I was attacking him, And I'm like, wait, what? No. And so I had to race out of Valentine as fast as my horse could carry me and go try to pay off my bounty. I thought about restarting from just before the bounty, but it was such a pain to catch her, and I'm just like, now that I know, I could probably catch her faster, but just in case, I didn't want to do that again, because that's annoying. So I said, let me just outrun this and I'll go pay my bounty. Unfortunately, my bounty turned out to be 15 bucks, so I only came away with 10 bucks for that trouble, which is so not worth it, but whatever. The problem is that I went to go pay my bounty in a different county, except that the post office wouldn't open, and so I waited until morning, but then nothing opened, and then I realized there's a story mission in that town that I had to do, and the whole town was basically shut down until I did that story mission. So I had to go elsewhere to pay my bounty, and I snuck back into that county so that I could go pay it, because I didn't want to do a story mission with a bounty on my head, because I don't want that extra level of difficulty of people chasing me down, because it's bad enough that the people in that story mission you're going to be fighting them. You don't need extra people to fight. And unfortunately, I was also thinking of starting to do the home robberies that I've seen listed, but I didn't want to do them because I didn't want to go and rob, like, a family, like, with a woman and kids. That just seemed wrong. But I looked it up online, and it seems like the home robberies, you're not robbing, like, families. I mean, like, what are they going to have anyway? You're robbing, like, a gang that's holed up in a house, and they've got, like, good treasure. And I'm like, that makes sense. Like, what's a regular family going to have that's worth robbing? So I was going to do those, except for the fact that the story mission that I did that finally moved things along again led into a series of story missions that was the end of a chapter, and there was no way to go back and do other things. I'll have to wait until later to maybe do a home robbery. Except for one of them I won't be able to do because the character that was going to do the robbery with, they are no longer with us, sadly. Trying to not spoil the game. For those of you who have not played it yet, usually I don't worry about spoilers because I'm so far behind everybody. Like, everybody else has already finished Red Dead 2, and I'm just slugging along. But I've just started Chapter 4, so I think there's 6. So I guess I'm past the halfway point now. Although I think the percentage is like 45%. But I'm still enjoying it, even with the killing, because now I've been killing people who deserve it. So it's okay. So come back next week. Maybe I'll have started Pokemon. Maybe I'll have started something else. Who knows? I'll tell you more about my adventures in the Old West and other Christmas presents that I might have gotten. And see you then. Bye.